Hello everybody. It's been a little while since I've posted, but it gave me enough time to gather this little stack of books. Well, there they go. They're all fall down. Been playing with an idea for the title of this video, and there's a little song that I learned as a kid about the worms go in, the worms go out, the worms play pinochle on your snout. So I thought, the books come in, the books go out, because I've got a haul, but I also have a little bit of an unhaul, which I might do in this video. Depends on time. Anyway, let's start with the haul real quick. All of these either came out of the little free library or the public library's little freebie box. So we have Tales of the Mysterious and Macabre by Algernon Blackwood. I thought this might be fun for, Halloween time. 23 superb tales from the pen of that ever-popular and prolific storyteller Algernon Blackwood, master of the spine-chilling situation in an atmosphere of mystery and horror. Sounds alright. I generally don't read a lot of short stories, but this might be nice to fill in between things. I know I've got a readathon coming up September and another one in November. I've got a lot of stuff coming up in November. A lot of challenges. Anyway, I have, I think it's pronounced Iqbal by Francesco D'Adamo, translated by Anne Leonori. I hope I didn't butcher their names too terribly. It's very thin, very short book. Don't know anything about it. When young Iqbal is sold into slavery at a carpet factory, his arrival changes everything for the other overworked and abused children there. It is Iqbal who explains to them that despite their master's promises, he plans on keeping them as his slaves indefinitely, but it is also Iqbal who inspires the other children to look to a future free from toil, and is brave enough to show them how to get there. This moving fictionalized account of the real Iqbal Masih? M-A-S-I-H. I don't know how to pronounce it when they stick an H at the end like that. It's told through the voice of Fatima, a young Pakistani girl whose life is changed by Iqbal's courage. So I'm guessing Iqbal then is Pakistani? Based on the blurb? I do want to read more translated fiction. I have read a few things this year, and most of them have been Japanese. I do seem to enjoy the Japanese aesthetic, so. I have A Killing Frost by Hannah Alexander. It's a Christie Award-winning author, so it's probably an inspirational. Yeah, it says it's got the code for inspirational. It's a river dance novel. Secret Past, A Present Danger. A terrible secret haunts Dr. Jama Keith, but she must return to her past, her hometown of Riverdance, Missouri, and risk exposure. She owes a debt to the town for financing her dreams. If only she can avoid ex-fiancé Tyrell Mercer, but Riverdance is too small for that. When Tyrell's niece is abducted by two of the FBI's most wanted, Jama can't refuse to help. Tyrell's family were like kin to her for many years. The search for young Dorian could cost Tyrell and Jama their lives, but revealing her secret shame to the man she loves scares Jama more than the approaching danger. Apparently Hannah Alexander is a pen name of a husband and wife writing team. That's kind of interesting. Alona Andrews is also a husband and wife writing team. This one is Ruin Falls by Jenny Milchman. Don't know anything about it. It's by Ballantine Books. Liz Daniels should have every reason to be happy about setting off on a rare family vacation. Instead, she feels uneasy about taking her kids away from home to see their grandparents. Her husband, Paul, hasn't spoken to his parents or about them in years, and it's a long drive to the remote farmhouse. After a day on the road, Liz decides it's time to check into a hotel for the night. After all, everything always looks better in the morning. But when the sun comes up, she finds her worst fears realized and her entire existence upended. Paul is suddenly a stranger to her, and Liz must now fight to save her family. Her panic mounts as she races to unravel a web of lies, following a thread that leads deep into the woods, and journeying from a safe, ordinary life to a disturbing, hidden world born from dreams and haunted by nightmares. Sounds interesting. Thrillerish. I do like my thrillers. This one is Ocean Prey by John Sanford. It's one of the Lucas Davenport. Oh, they've got Lucas Davenport and Virgil Flowers both in this one, apparently. I haven't read the Virgil Flowers books. I've read some of the Lucas Davenport books, and I really liked them when I was reading them. Kind of gotten away from them, so there's quite a few I haven't read yet. Holy cow. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 16, 17, 30? 30 Prey novels, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 Virgil Flowers novels. And this one's not in the list, so I guess this is probably book 31 then. An off-duty... I can talk. An off-duty Coast Guardsman is fishing with his family when he calls in some suspicious behavior from a nearby boat. It's a snazzy craft, slick and outfitted with extra horsepower, and is zipping along until it slows to pick up a surface diver. A diver who was apparently alone without his own boat in the middle of the ocean. That is kind of weird. None of it makes sense unless there's something hinky going on, and his hunch is proved right when all 3 guardsmen who come out to investigate are shot and killed. Well, that sucks. They're federal officers killed on the job, which means the case is the FBI's turf. When the FBI's investigation stalls out, they call in Lucas Davenport. And when his case turns lethal, Davenport will need to bring in every asset he can claim, including a detective with a fundamentally criminal mind, Virgil Flowers. So at some point, apparently, Lucas Davenport becomes FBI? He was like just a regular detective in the first however many I read. Let's see. Rules of Prey, Shadow Prey, Eyes of Prey, Silent Prey, Winter Prey, Night Prey, Mind Prey, Sudden Prey? I don't think I went past Sudden Prey. Anyway, I really need to start that series over because it's been years since I've read any of them, but I do remember liking them quite a bit. Okay. This one is called The Intruder by Peter Blauner? I am really bad with names. How far would you go to protect what's yours? Jake Schiff has the American dream, a great family, a big house, successful career. Then the intruder shows up on his doorstep, a malevolent psychopath who's convinced that everything Jake has should be his. Now Jake has no choice but to take matters into his own hands and go for broke before he and the world he loves goes down. Sounds like a thriller. Jonathan Kellerman, Dr. Death. This is an Alex Delaware novel. I don't know if I've read any of the Alex Delaware books. I'm not sure if I've read any Jonathan Kellerman. I have read some Faye Kellerman, I think. But I don't know if I've read Jonathan. Brutalized corpse discovered in a remote region of the Hollywood Hills plunges psychologist detective Alex Delaware into a landscape of rage and madness as he struggles to solve this most baffling of homicides. To some, Eldon Mate or Mate doesn't have an accent, so I'm guessing it's Mate. Was evil and personified. Others saw the former physician as a saint. But one thing was clear. Dr. Death had snuffed out the lives of dozens of human beings, and now someone had turned him into a victim. When Mate is found mutilated in a rented van, harnessed to his own killing machine, Delaware is asked to aid his old friend, homicide cop Milo Sturgis, in the hunt for the Death Doctor's executioner. But Alex harbors secrets of his own that threaten to derail the partners' friendship, as well as the increasingly complex investigation. With page-turning suspense and vivid portraits of LA's darkest side, perennial bestseller Jonathan Kellerman's latest tale of psychopathology, taken to the extreme, delivers an unforgettable journey into the most sinister corners of the human mind. Sounds interesting to me. Been a while since I've read a medical type thriller. I used to read Michael Palmer. Unfortunately, he passed away several years ago, and I have Fade to Black by Wendy Corsi Staub. I keep wanting to stick an R in there. I don't know why, but it's Staub, not Straub. Wow, that's hard to read. No one in the sleepy village of Windmere Cove, Rhode Island, knows Elizabeth Baxter. She doesn't socialize, has no friends, and when she's outside, she constantly looks over her shoulder. That's because Elizabeth's living in fear, keeping her past a secret. And sometimes secrets can kill. I'm not going to read the rest of it because it's really hard for me to see. I mean, it's that blue on black, and then you've got this crease that's going through, interrupting the words. Cover's really loose on that one. But hey, it was a freebie. This one is Hot Case by Patricia Rosemore. She was hot on the trail of a cold-blooded killer. This is a silhouette bombshell book. I'm guessing it's similar to a Harlequin intrigue. I like the intrigues pretty well. I'll read them on occasion. Now you see her, now you don't. Detective Shelley Caldwell believed LaTanya Sanford had been murdered, if only she had a body to prove it. But one minute the victim was lying in an alley, the next she was gone. Was the ace detective of the Violent Crimes Unit seeing things? Shelley was ready to turn in her badge until another body was discovered and lost. This time, the only witness was Shelley's eccentric twin sister. Donning her twin's identity, Shelley entered her sister's exotic world and encountered things no rational detective would believe possible, and a man no earthly woman could resist. But could she trust her instincts and find the killer before she became the next villain? Before she became the next victim! Oh, goodness. Might be more interesting if she became the next villain. Yeah. This is The Winter Lodge. It's one of the Lakeshore Chronicles by Susan Wiggs. I feel like I've read something by her before, but I get her and somebody else mixed up. I don't think this is the person I read from. If it is, the book I read isn't listed. Maybe it's Susan somebody else. Maybe it's Cheryl Woods? I don't know. This is from the Mira imprint from Harlequin, and those books are generally pretty good. The ones I've read, anyway. On the longest night of the year, Jenny Majeski loses everything in a devastating house fire. But among the ashes, she finds an unusual treasure hidden amid her grandfather's belongings. One that starts her on a search for the truth and on a path toward a life that she never imagined. The Winter Lodge, a remote cabin owned by her half-sister on the shores of Willow Lake, becomes a safe refuge for Jenny, where she and local police chief Rourke McKnight try to sort out the mysteries revealed by the fire. But when a blizzard traps them together, Jenny, accustomed to the safe predictability of running the family bakery, suddenly doesn't feel so secure. For even as work shelters her from the storm outside, she knows her heart is at risk. Now, following her dreams might mean walking away from her one chance at love. Because of course it does. So there's that. I thought, yeah, it's wintry looking. It maybe might be a good one to read at Christmas time. And they have 2 of them by Debbie Macomber. I have 20 Wishes and 50 Harbor Street. 20 Wishes is a Blossom Street book. And I'm guessing it's in a bookshop because it looks like bookshelves and there's a little puppy dog sitting on a chair with a book, and then there's a cash register on the counter. I don't know how well you can see that on the screen, but... And then this one, we've got, you know, the sailboats and the beach house and all that kind of stuff. Okay, 20 Wishes. What Anne-Marie Roche wants is to find happiness again. At 38, she's childless, a recent widow, alone. She owns a successful bookstore on Seattle's Blossom Street, but despite her accomplishments, there's a feeling of emptiness. On Valentine's Day, Anne-Marie and several other widows get together to celebrate hope. They each begin a list of 20 wishes, things they always wanted to do but never did. Anne-Marie's list includes learning to knit, falling in love again, doing good for someone else. When she volunteers at a local school, an 8-year-old girl named Ellen enters her life. It's a relationship that becomes far more involving and far more important than Anne-Marie ever imagined. As Ellen helps Anne-Marie complete her list of 20 wishes, they both learn that wishes can come true, but not necessarily in the way you expect. Sounds like something I like. I generally read her Christmassy ones when I do read her stuff, and I enjoy those. I enjoy the movies that they make off of her books. Okay, so this is 50 Harbor Street. It says, Dear Reader, considering I'm married to Cedar Cove's private investigator, you might think I enjoy mysteries, but I don't, especially when they involve us. Roy's been receiving anonymous postcards. What did I get on this book? Anonymous postcards and messages asking if we regret the past. We don't know what they mean. On a more positive note, we're both delighted that our daughter, Lynette, has moved to Cedar Cove to work at the new medical clinic. A while ago, I attended the Humane Society's Dog and Bachelor auction where I bought her a date with Cal Washburn, who works at Cliff Harding's horse farm. Unfortunately, Lynette is less than enthusiastic about this date than I am. Speaking of Cliff, the romance between him and Grace Sherman is back on, but that's only one of the many interesting stories here in Cedar Cove. So why don't you drop by for a coffee at my husband's office on Main Street or our house on Harbor Hill, and I'll tell you everything that's new. I wonder how far into the series this is. Isn't Cedar Cove a movie series like on Hallmark Channel or something? I'm asking as if y'all are answering me right now. Let's just have this conversation. I don't know, but I think I just heard the timer go off on my oven. Let me go check that real quick. Looks like I have a pause button now. That's a good thing. That's a definite plus. I'll go check that, and I'll come back and we can do a quick unhaul. Now that I have all these new books, I got to get rid of some books, right? So, be right back. Okay, I'm back. Did you miss me? I have a little stack of books, well, a box with some books in it that I'm unhauling. Some of them I've read, some of them I haven't, some of them are duplicates to things I already owned. One of them I haven't decided if I'm keeping it or not. Okay, let's start with these three. No. Changing my mind. My mind's in a constant state of chaos. Alright. I have 4 of the Sue Grafton Kinsey Milhone series that I'm passing on because I've read them. Well, except for V. Haven't read V yet, but I have 2 copies of V. So, I'm getting rid of V is for Vengeance, T is for Trespass, P is for Peril, and O is for Outlaw. I will say T is for Trespass is probably the best one I've read in quite a while. I thought it was really well done. And it was a little bit different the way it was set up than the previous books. And I don't know if maybe that's what made me like it, but I did notice on reviews when I posted my completion on Goodreads that other people were saying they thought it was best, or the best they'd read in a while. So I guess it's not just me, but I do think potentially the slight change in the format of it might be part of it, because in this one she does like a dual storyline. It's not necessarily a dual POV, because I don't think you're really getting... There's a character named Solana, and there are chapters that are her name, but they're not necessarily her point of view, but it's her storyline, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? And then there's, like, Kinsey also has some other stuff she's doing that is like her other storyline. But I think the way this one was set up, something about it just appealed to me more. And it's one of the better ones I've read in the series. I still need to read S is for Silence. I had to read T before I read S because the audiobook was going back, and I didn't want to wait another couple months for it to come back to me. I still have S is for Silence until tomorrow, so I can listen to that probably tonight once I get this video up. And then I just have U, V, W, X, and Y. So I've got like 6 books and I'll be done with the series. I'm going to finish the series this year! Woo! I'm one of those people who's notorious for not finishing series. I'm going to get this one done this year, which is pretty darn cool. I'm also going to complete the Bad Guys series, which is a middle grade kind of graphic novel-y series. All I know is it's hysterical. It is so much fun. I'm having a blast reading it. And I'm going to finish the 13-story Treehouse series once book 26 story comes in. Got them requested from the library. I picked up 2 of them today, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them on the shelf. But 26 hasn't come in yet, and that's the next one. It's every 13, so it's like 13, 26, 39, 52, 65, 78, 91. 104 hasn't come in yet. I've got 117, so that means 130 hasn't come in yet, and then 143, and I don't know if there's one after 143, I can't remember, but whatever. I'm still missing a couple, so once they come in, I'm just going to plow right through these, because these are a lot of fun too. If you've got younger middle grade kids, these are hysterical. I mean, they've got these cute little cartoonish drawings. I think I showed you from a previous book. But the stories are just insane, and they're so much fun. Highly recommend. Okay, back to the Unhaul. So we're getting with 4 Sue Grafton books. Leslie Meyer, Eggnog Murder. It's also got Lee Hollis and Barbara Ross. This is like a 3-in-1 book, and I've already read this one. I couldn't remember when I was at the library sale back in May. Went ahead and picked it up because I knew if I didn't pick it up, it's going to be what I need. So I picked it up. I already read it. Isn't that the way it works? The other one I picked up, I haven't read yet, so at least I have one. Or maybe two from that series, Lucy Stone. That's the next one I want to get finished. I finished the Cupcake Bakery Mysteries up through book 14, which is the one that just came out in May. So, caught up on that one. Okay, this is Short Girls by I don't know if it's Bick or Bitch. Not Bitch, but Bish. There's no T, so, you know. Let's say Bick, because it sounds better. Bick Min Nguyen? I know I just completely butchered her name. I obviously don't speak Vietnamese. This book is about a couple sisters who are like Vietnamese American, and I didn't finish the book. I feel bad about it. I only read maybe the first third or so. I don't know if I made it as far as half or not. I might have. It was interesting enough. But not. I needed to read something else. So I set this down and I just never picked it back up. And it's been sitting there collecting dust. I mean, you can see lots of dust on this poor book. It's just been sitting there collecting dust, and I don't want to go back and start it over. It didn't interest me enough to do that. So apparently this author also wrote a book called Stealing Buddha's Dinner. I like the title. Let's see. Aside from their petite stature, Van and Lenny Luong couldn't be more different. Diligent, unassuming Van works as an immigration lawyer in the Michigan suburbs, but no one knows that her picture-perfect marriage has suddenly evaporated. Beautiful, fashionable Lenny lives in Chicago and has drifted into a dead-end affair with a married man. And though they both feel untethered and burdened by their secrets, they've never been able to confide in each other. To celebrate his upcoming citizenship oath and to improve prospects of his invention, the long arm, an instrument to help short people grasp objects that are out of reach, their eccentric father calls them back to the Vietnamese American community they fled long ago. Called A Writer to Watch, a tremendous talent by the Chicago Tribune, Nguyen makes her fiction debut with this deeply moving and entertaining story of two Vietnamese sisters who discover a new, enduring connection that will see them through the pitfalls and triumphs of a truly modern American story. I believe I probably picked this up out of the little free library. I tried. I gave it a fair shot. And when I didn't go back to it, and it's been sitting there just collecting dust for a couple years, it's time to pass it on to somebody who's going to appreciate it more. I'm sad I didn't like it more, but not every book is for every person. Somebody else is going to love it. Somebody else is going to absolutely love it. And the last one in my stack of 7 is Down Comes the Night by Allison Saft. This one's an arc. I won it off of Goodreads, I don't know, probably 2 years ago, something like that. When did it come out? Does it say? Somewhere on here it's got to say. On sale March 2021. So I probably got it at the end of 2020. It wasn't for me. I'll just say that. It was okay. I think I gave it 2.5 or 3 stars. I'm not a huge reader of fantasy stuff anyway, so I'm not surprised it wasn't like a 4 or 5 star. I just really, when I read the description, I really thought I would like it better than I did. Honor your oath, destroy your country. Ren Sutherland is the most talented healer in the Queen's Guard, but her reckless actions have repeatedly put her on thin ice with her superiors. So when a letter arrives from a reclusive lord asking Ren to come to his estate to cure his servant's mysterious disease, she seizes the chance to prove herself. That sounds alright to me. Healers, that's sort of along the path of witchery, and I like witches. So there's a similarity there. When she arrives at Colwick Hall, Ren realizes nothing is what it seems, particularly when she discovers her patient is actually Hal Cavendish, the sworn enemy of her kingdom. But of course he is! Duh! It's a fantasy novel, of course. You gotta have conflict in there somewhere, right? Soon the snowy mountains make it impossible to leave the estate, and Ren and Hal grow closer as they uncover a sinister plot that could destroy everything they hold dear. But choosing love could doom both their kingdoms. Yeah. I would say this is probably falling in the category of fantasy romance, because they do kind of force that romance. But Ren, I would say, is non-binary. She may very well be bi. I think she is, because she kind of is interested in the woman who's training her. So they're forcing a heterosexual relationship when I really felt like she was more interested in pursuing the relationship, the sapphic relationship. So I think they missed an opportunity there. Alison Saff's extraordinary debut, Down Comes the Night, is a gorgeously gothic, deeply romantic fantasy that keeps you racing through the pages long into the night. There are definitely some gothic elements. And I like that. I like the cover. I think the cover's amazing. It's hard to see because the colors are so similar. It's all shades of blue, gray, and black, and then a lit up window. But I think this is just a beautiful cover. It just wasn't for me. And I know there are people who will eat this up and love it and think it's the best book out there. For me, it had its moments, but more often than not, it was moments that I wasn't excited about, rather than moments to be excited about. So, anyway, 7 going out, 12 coming in, and didn't spend a penny on any of them. That's the way to do it. And of course, my pile of books from the library just keeps getting bigger and bigger. I need to add these two to the pile over here. That one needs to go back. I just found out it was overdue. Oops. I would do a quick taste test with you, but I need to put it in the freezer because it's got chocolate and it's all melty and nasty because it's like 90 degrees here today. So looking forward to blueberry muffin flavored Kit Kat. Once I can like stick it in the fridge or something and get it more solid. I did get a package today. So this great big envelope for a Lego minifigure. There's a website called Get It Free. And free Legos. I'm like, sure, why not, you know? If you get something great, if not, it's not any different than any other freebie I've tried to get and then didn't. But actually, something actually came. So here he is. He's got like a little walkie-talkie, and he's got a utility belt, a flashlight. He's wearing goggles. He's wearing a helmet. So I don't know if he's like some sort of soldier, some sort of, what else would be wearing a helmet? It's like a motorcycle helmet though. But he's not a cop, so it's not a police uniform. I'm not entirely sure what he's supposed to be, but that great big envelope for this little tiny minifigure. I'm going to put this away for my brother because he collects Lego stuff. And that was my thought, is if something comes, it'll be a stocking stuffer or something for him. So we'll just hold on to that. Still looking for a job. Still can't find anything. Still applying for all kinds of crap and nobody's calling me back. I mean, even McDonald's, and you know how McDonald's can be, right? McDonald's takes almost everybody. They won't even call us back. Kind of frustrating. Anyway, I'll get that out of the way, and I need to put this stuff back before I lose it. Anyway, that's where we're at now. So, I'm going to eat my dinner. And I still need to watch 2 DVDs off of the Scooby-Doo and Guess Who Season 2. And I need to listen to S's for Silence. And I need to finish Carnival of Snackery by David Sedaris. I'm like 67% or something on that. I've got 6 more Bad Guys books to read, which if I just sat down and read them, I'd have them done in probably an hour, hour and a half. They don't take very long. I'm going to read Bel Canto. I've had that book for a while. I have the movie sitting here that I've never seen. Haven't even unwrapped it yet. I picked it up at the dollar store before they went to $1.25. So I've had it a while. And it's one I said I would read for the Tower Team Challenge that we're finishing up here on the 15th, I believe, is the last day. It's like a 3-month challenge. It's like the only team challenge I do. And I've read a ton of stuff. This is why I don't do wrap-up videos. I started a second page for July. Okay? I keep track of my books in this notebook. Full page. And another good third of a page. So that's... $41 books for July. And none of them are picture books this time. Yes, there are the bad guy books that don't take very long, but they're still 140 to 175 pages. So it's not like a picture book. More toward a graphic novel. I think people are classifying it as graphic novel. I think I put it as graphic novel on my Goodreads, but not what I would consider a children's picture book. None of those for July, which is kind of interesting because I read several in June. Well, I guess 3 of them in June. And then I read several earlier in the year. I'm not afraid to count picture books. They're books, right? I count them. You're still reading. There's some true crime. There's a couple horror. Okay. Big question time, because I'm confused. Last House on Needless Street by Catriona Ward or Katrina Ward? Because it's spelled Catriona. But I've heard a lot of people say Katrina. Now, I read that one, and I read The Girl from Raw Blood. One of them, the audiobook, said Katrina, and the other one, the audiobook said Catriona. Which is it? Seriously, which is it? I want to say your name right. And I've still got one more of her books sitting here that I got in that mysterious package that showed up with 2 of her books in it. I still have one, was it Sundial, I think so it's called? And I'm not entirely sure what her name is. Is it Katrina or Catriona? Books in Lala says Katrina when she talks about her. Somebody else said Catriona when they were talking about Last House on Needless Street. All I know is her books are kind of weird. Especially The Girl from Raw Blood. It was weirder than The Last House on Needless Street for me. You think you know what's going on, and then the last quarter of the book, when she's kind of explaining what's going on, is not at all what you thought was going on. And I'm just sitting there going, huh? What? How do you figure that? Because that's not at all what I was getting from it. Last House on Needless Street, there's a lot of like dissociative identity disorder stuff going on. So it's going to be confusing. Because that's the nature of the disorder, is it's confusing. Which personalities are in that one person, and which ones are actually other people, or which names are actually other people. Are they all characters? Are all the characters one person, or are all they different people? Confusion, right? But it has a reason. The Girl from Raw Blood just confused the crap out of me when I got to the end. And I'm sitting there going, I thought I understood it. And then I got to the end, and I have no idea what I just read. So is Sundial going to be weird like that too? Have any of you read her stuff? Is it just me that's getting sideswiped here? Like, what the heck just happened? I don't know. It's some weirdness going on. Weirdness afoot. Anyway. Read a couple Frederick Backman books this month. Really love those. I enjoy his writing, and I saw that the 3rd Beartown book's about to come out in September. Goodreads has a giveaway, so fingers crossed I entered. Hopefully I get it. If not, that's okay too. I'll just wait and get it from the library. I think I requested it from the library, so hopefully I'll be one of the first to get it. Need to request it from Overdrive and make sure I can get it that way. Because I really liked Beartown and was it Us Against Them? Us Against You? Us Against whatever. Book 2. Really liked both of them. Yeah, I really enjoy that author. So anyway, I need to eat my dinner because I haven't eaten anything at all today. I've had some water, that's it. So I'm going to eat my dinner, let y'all go, and maybe see if I can find a smaller box or something to put these books in so I can put them in the car. so that I remember to take them the next time we go to town. I did find another little free library, and it's outside a school, so it was full of kids' books. Wasn't anything I wanted today, but now I at least know where there is one. But I think it's really probably geared more towards the kids at the school. And it's a school that tends to deal with children who have, what is the current terminology? Intellectual disabilities? Is that the current terminology? It changes every so often, so I'm not entirely sure what the current politically correct term is. I think it's intellectual disabilities. And I was trying to apply for a job to be a teacher's aide there, and they aren't currently looking for anybody since school's about to start. A friend of mine said, "Hey, go over there and apply. They're looking for people." I get over there. No, we're not looking for anybody right now. Darn it. But I think that could be a fun job, because the children I have worked with that fall into that category have just been phenomenal kids. They are so much fun. Yes, it's frustrating when you have to explain the same thing 60 times. But when they click, when they finally get it, that 61st time you explain it and the light goes off, ding, it's all worth it. Those kids are phenomenal. I worked at a Girl Scout camp that was specifically geared toward children with various disabilities. We had a couple kids that were in wheelchairs. We had a couple that had Down syndrome. We had one, she was missing her arm. We had one, I think, might have been blind. I can't remember now. I mean, I was in high school, so over 30 years. That was the most fun. We had a blast. Taking the girls, letting them explore nature, letting them swim, letting them do all these things, and watching them experience things that they may not get to experience otherwise. We spent several days of intense training to learn what to do when we're interacting with these children. And then when the kids got there, we just had a blast. It was so much fun. And I'm thinking, working in this situation might be kind of a cool job. Unfortunately, they're not hiring at the moment. They did suggest that I apply to be a substitute teacher through them. But, I don't know. Subbing, you can't really count on making money. My lips are peeling something awful. They feel like sandpaper. That's why I keep touching my lips. It's driving me crazy. I can feel it. Anyway, I know I keep saying this, but I'm definitely going to let you go now. This doesn't need to be an hour-long video. 48 minutes is more than enough. So, that and my sinuses are starting up again. And we all know how that is. I start a video and it's just... Okay. So, remember to do all the YouTube things. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Ring the bell icon to be notified of future uploads. Maybe. And, I guess I'll see you in the next one. Bye.